This is France, and France is facing a major economic problem.
Public finance are in a very bad situation. Europe is clearly weak right now, more specifically in the face of the election of Donald Trump.
The United States could possibly impose 10% plus tariffs on goods coming from places like France.
The US rating agency, Standard & Poor's, downgraded the credit rating of French bonds to AA-.
The French government is on the verge of collapse.
France's economy was once the pride of Europe, but now it's in turmoil. What's going wrong, and how did a nation with such promise find itself on the brink of economic crisis? Stay tuned as we uncover the shocking truth behind France's struggling economy. France's economy has been grappling with a critical issue: its mounting national debt. As of 2024, France's public debt has surged to 3.2 trillion euros, representing over 112% of its GDP. This level of debt is significantly higher than the EU's recommended limit of 60% of GDP and places France among the most indebted nations in Europe. So, how did France get here? For decades, the French government has relied on borrowing to finance public services, social benefits, and infrastructure projects. While this has supported its strong welfare state, it has also created a growing financial burden. Worse still, the government has struggled to generate enough revenue to offset its spending. High tax rates aimed at funding social programs often discourage businesses and investors, making it harder for the economy to grow its way out of debt. The interest payments on this debt alone cost France billions each year, funds that could be invested in education, innovation, or job creation. Without significant reform, this debt cycle threatens to derail France's economic stability. France's unemployment problem is one of the worst in Western Europe, with an overall unemployment rate of 7.2% as of late 2024. For comparison, Germany's rate stands at just 3%, and the EU average is around 6%. But the real crisis is among the youth. Shockingly, 17% of French youth aged 15 to 24 are unemployed, one of the highest rates in the developed world. Why is unemployment so persistent? One reason lies in the rigid labor laws, which make it expensive and risky for companies to hire new workers. Strict regulations on firing employees also discourage businesses from expanding their workforce. Moreover, industries in France are failing to keep up with the pace of automation and digital transformation. Many sectors that once employed large numbers of people, like manufacturing, are now shedding jobs due to outdated systems and global competition. This lack of employment opportunities has left a generation disillusioned, leading many talented young people to leave France in search of better prospects abroad.
Like months after months, you may be less confident, wondering why, and maybe asking yourself, what did I do wrong? Like, do I have a problem?
Marie Gambert has had a problem, but it certainly wasn't her fault. At 24, she's done more than most to enter the job market. She studied hard, earned a bachelor's degree from one of the best business schools in Canada, a master's in finance and strategy from one of the top universities in France, which included study in Brazil. She speaks 4 languages, and yet, for months after graduation, she could not find anyone who would hire her, even though she sent her resumes and CVs everywhere.
How many of those did you send out?
A lot, maybe like 100 maybe.
One of the biggest challenges facing France today is the energy crisis. After Russia's invasion of Ukraine disrupted global energy supplies, Europe as a whole saw a massive increase in energy prices, and France was no exception. While the French government tried to shield its citizens with subsidies, the strain on the economy has been immense. France's reliance on nuclear energy, which provides around 70% of its electricity, was once a strength, but aging nuclear plants and delays in maintaining them have turned this advantage into a liability. By 2023, nearly half of France's nuclear reactors were offline, causing the country to rely on expensive imports of gas and electricity. This energy crunch has had devastating effects. Small businesses have seen their utility bills double, forcing many to shut down. The cost of living has skyrocketed, with inflation peaking at 6.7%, a 30-year high. Energy-intensive industries like steel and chemicals have had to scale back production or relocate to countries with cheaper energy. If France fails to modernize its energy infrastructure and reduce its reliance on imports, the ripple effects of this crisis will continue to erode its economy. In recent years, France has been rocked by waves of social unrest, with the Yellow Vest movement becoming a symbol of widespread dissatisfaction. This grassroots protest began in 2018 as a response to rising fuel taxes, but quickly evolved into a broader outcry against inequality, high living costs, and stagnant wages. While these protests amplified the voices of everyday citizens, the economic consequences have been severe. According to government estimates, the disruptions caused by the Yellow Vest protests cost the French economy nearly 10 billion euros in damages and lost revenue. Major cities like Paris saw tourism plummet, while local businesses struggled to recover from repeated vandalism and looting. Even after the Yellow Vest movement subsided, other protests emerged. In 2023, France faced nationwide strikes over President Macron's controversial pension reforms, which aim to raise the retirement age from 62 to 64. While these reforms were deemed necessary to stabilize the economy, they sparked fierce backlash, with millions taking to the streets. This cycle of protests and strikes has created an atmosphere of instability, scaring off investors and hindering long-term growth. France's reputation as a business-friendly environment has taken a hit, and until social tensions are addressed, the economy is unlikely to find stable footing. France has long been one of the world's leading economic powerhouses, but it's now struggling to keep pace with global competitors. In 2024, France's GDP growth is expected to hover around a meager 0.7%, significantly lower than Germany's projected 1.8% or the US's robust 2.5% growth. What's causing France to fall behind? One major factor is the high cost of doing business. France has some of the highest corporate tax rates in Europe, with a standard rate of 25%, compared to 15% in Ireland or 19% in the UK. These taxes, coupled with strict labor laws, make France a less attractive destination for foreign investors. Additionally, innovation in France is slowing. While the country is home to global giants like Airbus and L'Oréal, its share of tech startups and research investments pales compared to rivals like Germany and the United States. In 2023, France ranked 13th in the Global Innovation Index, falling behind other major European nations. Another issue is the brain drain. A 2022 survey found that nearly 30% of French graduates plan to work abroad, citing better job opportunities and lower taxes in countries like Switzerland, the UK, and the US. France's declining global competitiveness isn't just an economic problem. It's a national identity crisis. As the country struggles to modernize and attract talent, its economic clout continues to erode on the world stage. France's economic challenges are a complex web of debt, unemployment, energy struggles, social unrest, and global competition. While the nation's rich history and innovative spirit remain undeniable, its current trajectory raises serious concerns about its future. The question now is, can France make the bold reforms needed to regain its economic footing, or will it continue to sink under the weight of these issues? The answer lies not just in policy changes, but in the collective will of its leaders and citizens to confront these challenges head-on. What do you think? Can France turn things around, or is it facing a prolonged economic decline? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more deep dives into the world's most pressing economic and geopolitical issues.